Hello and welcome to this DraftKings video. Today we're going to be previewing all of the Premier League games that are happening on the 12th of July. So that will be the Everton versus Wolves game, the Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace game, the North London derby, hopefully it's a good one, the Arsenal versus Tottenham Hotspur game, and to finish us off, the Leicester versus Bournemouth game. So without further ado, if you are new around here, please do drop a like and hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the first fixture to consider here is the Everton versus Wolves game. Now in this one we see Richarlison coming in as the most expensive player, around 11,000. I don't know why Pedro Neto is then the next most expensive player. I don't know really why DraftKings are doing that. But yeah, just below that we have the likes of Raul Jimenez, Traore. With the set pieces for both sides, we're looking at Luca Dean and Moutinho. If Sigurdsson does get a start, then we'll most likely see Sigurdsson picking up plenty of those set pieces as well. Both sides in the last few games have been a little bit cagey going forward. Richarlison obviously pulled out that absolutely beautiful goal against Southampton, and Wolves have been kind of struggling in form of late to score, but I can see them grabbing a goal here. The Wolves fullbacks are normally quite good ones to go for, so the likes of Doherty, the likes of Johnny, those guys are very good as well. Saying that as well, Luca Dean, obviously the left back, he's around 8,000 to 9,000 now, so quite a bit more expensive in this game. And Seamus Coleman on the right hand side. The other forwards, I think Calvert-Lewin is quite a nice one for Everton. He's a bit cheaper than Richarlison. I think if you're going to get some Everton exposure, maybe try and combine the likes of Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and even the likes of Traore and Jimenez, as those two guys have been the most lethal partnership throughout the whole of this Premier League season. So if you're going to get one, might as well have the other one. But yeah, as always, we're just looking for the goals, and look, most likely we'll see the goals coming through Jimenez and Richarlison. I do quite like the idea of a Richarlison captain, even though he's the most expensive player. He loves to get some shots off and will very likely get some kind of goal contribution in tomorrow's game. So the next game to consider is the Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace game. Now this game is two sides that are struggling for form since the restart. Aston Villa obviously are still fighting for relegation, so they do have a bit more than Crystal Palace to play in this game. However, Crystal Palace, over the last few weeks, they've picked up some quite poor results, and so maybe they'll want to rejuvenate their form in this game, which they'll be looking at as a kind of, not a must-win, but a game that they really should win. That being said, Aston Villa against the likes of Liverpool, against the likes of Chelsea, have looked pretty good and scary going forward at times. So if you're going to look at Aston Villa options, definitely look at the more forward players. Obviously, Jack Grealish, the most expensive player in this slate, a guy who's going to get you very, very consistent DraftKings points, and if you don't captain him, you may end up slipping down the leaderboards. That being said, if Conor Hourihane does end up playing, I very much do like him as a captaincy option, as when he does play, he gets basically all of the set pieces and he ticks up really nicely in points. That being said, if he doesn't play, John McGinn was taken off quite early in Aston Villa's last game, which implies to me that he was being rested for this game. So if he does play and Hourihane doesn't play, will take quite a lot of the set pieces as well. Very good tenacious midfielder, gets a few shots off and some tackles as well. So looking on to more Crystal Palace assets, we've got the likes of Van Aanholt, the likes of Zaha, the likes of Ayew, the likes of Milivojevic. All of these guys tick up reasonably nice in points. I'd say Wilfried Zaha, although he's the most expensive Palace player, that's probably because he scored against Chelsea. He doesn't really have that good of a floor, so really only be putting him in your team if you're kind of expecting that he's going to score or do something. Otherwise, he's not really going to do much. Jordan Ayew got a rest in the last game, so we can expect him to start this game and most likely see him getting plenty of points. He loves a shot on target. He's one of the most fouled players in the Premier League, actually just behind Grealish and Zaha. So Jordan Ayew, definitely want to consider. I'm considering putting him captain as well because he's a little bit cheaper than the other guys, and it means you'll be able to get some of those more premium options in as well. Benteke, another player who actually scored against Chelsea last week for Palace, although he doesn't have that great of a goal scoring record of late, so it's likely that we can't really expect him to do much. Milivojevic, the main set piece taker for Palace on penalties, corners, most of the close range sort of free kicks, so a nice ticker, although he is quite likely to pick up yellow cards. He's got 9 yellow cards this season and does concede quite a few fouls. So another guy we definitely should look at here is the likes of Patrick Van Aanholt, who does end up taking a lot of the set pieces towards the end of the game in Millwall, which tires out quite a lot. We'll see Van Aanholt take quite a few set pieces, and he has scored a few free kicks as well from quite close, just outside the edge of the area. So definitely a guy to look out for, and actually bagged an assist last week against Chelsea. So looking a bit further down the slate, we'll see the likes of James McArthur, Koyate, midfielders for Palace. John Ward I do quite like. He does get down the wing quite a lot and crosses the ball in a fair amount. Other than that, you've really got sort of very defensive-minded midfielders for Palace. The likes of El Ghazi I really do like for Aston Villa. He's more expensive than obviously the guys I was just talking about, but he ticks up on points really nice. He loves to get crosses in, loves to shoot, so definitely someone else to consider. In this game, I think it'll be quite a tight one. It could be sort of 1-0 either way, or a 1-1, or maybe if a team's going to score 2, I expect it to be Palace. So I think you can just expect 1-0 either way, sort of play with that. Maybe with goalkeeper-wise, and both goalkeepers aren't too premium of a price, so if you think one side's going to keep a clean sheet and get the win, definitely pick their goalkeeper. So the North London derby, what a fiery occasion this is built up to be. The first North London derby without a crowd, so whether we'll see it be quite as fiery in terms of a fixture, I'm not quite sure. Without the crowds there, it's very hard to say whether the players will be quite just as up for it as all the fans are, because the fans really are the ones who create this rivalry. That being said, we've got some very good options on both sides. It's been a reasonably cagey game in the past, with quite a few draws and not actually too many goals. But we have seen some red cards as well, so definitely be looking out for those guys. That will come more from the kind of defensive-minded players, so you like David Luiz, your Torreiras, your Xhakas, your Ndombele's, your Sissoko's. These guys are the ones more likely to pick up the cards and the points in this, the cards and the fouls conceded in this game. And if it does live up to be that fiery fixtures, I think we can end up seeing quite a few fouls conceded from the more defensively minded players. That being said, we saw Heung-min Son come in as the most expensive player on the slate. Deservedly so, I'd say. He hasn't really been scoring or assisting too much of late. However, we do see him kind of take a lot of set pieces. He gets plenty of crosses in and a lot of shots as well, so definitely one to consider in your teams. Pepe takes quite a lot of the set pieces as well for Arsenal. Saka, another one who I keep saying maybe he's too expensive, but he keeps proving me wrong. He keeps getting assists, he keeps getting goal contributions, and as long as he keeps doing that, he is an absolutely fantastic option in DraftKings. And he just does tick up as well. He likes to cross the ball, he likes to shoot, so he's definitely one to consider as well. Obviously, Aubameyang could very well get a goal. It's just really in this game, pick a side to pick Arsenal or pick Spurs, because their team's kind of too expensive on either side to be trying to get too many different attacking players in. You want to kind of get the combination, so maybe get Saka and Aubameyang, or get Son and Kane, or maybe even Lamela and Son, just because Lamela likes to play that cam position when he is actually playing, or even the likes of Bergwijn, Moira. All these guys attacking wise could definitely offer a threat in this game. That being said, as I said, the more defensive minded midfielders and the more defensive minded players are probably ones to kind of avoid, just because if this game is quite a bitey game, then we'll likely see quite a few fouls conceded being picked up as well. The likes of Aurea, the wing backs, for both sides, I do quite like the look of the likes of Aurea, the likes of Davies, the likes of Bellerin, the likes of Tierney. These guys like to bomb up the wing, and I think we can see them really getting down the wing in this game. It's going to be an attacking game, quite high tempo. I hope to see from a neutrals kind of spectacle. And yeah, I think it's a hard one to call, because with these kind of derby games, you never really know what side's going to be up for it. We've got a Spurs side who have been not too great form of late, but obviously a derby, anything can happen. So just kind of build your team around probably one side, the side that you think is going to do better, and just stick with it and have some fun. So the Bournemouth versus Leicester game. This game should be a reasonably comfortable win for Leicester. They're going into this game as favourites, and I think we can expect to see quite a cagey performance still from Bournemouth, as they are still mathematically able to stay up. They're likely to be quite cagey, quite reserved, sort of more holding on to try and get a point and maybe nick a goal to get the 3 points, than they will be sort of playing the more expansive football. that we have seen from them in the past. So I think for this game, we're looking at the likes of Jamie Vardy, we're looking at Harvey Barnes, Ozzy Perez if he does start. Brighton has actually been taking a lot of set pieces for Leicester, so I'd definitely be putting him in the team. Maybe captain him, although I do see Jamie Vardy popping up with a couple of goals in this game, so I do quite like a Jamie Vardy captain. Along with that, we see Junior Stanislas coming in as the most expensive player for Bournemouth. He's kind of taken over that set piece taking duty from the likes of Harry Wilson, Fraser, Rico. So Stanislas are definitely one to look out for in terms of burning options. I quite like, he's 8,400, so it's not actually too much of a price to play for sort of some more guaranteed points in terms of Bournemouth. He came in with a nice 13 points in the last week, and I think we can kind of expect to continue that if he is given that set piece taking a role again. But just in general, this game, I think you're just looking at the Leicester options and you're just kind of considering, okay, who do I think is going to score? Who's going to offer me the best value in terms of floor and going to push me up? So Brighton definitely wants to go for James Justin and Chilwell. The fullbacks like to bomb down the left and the right hand side, and I think we'll see that happen a lot in this game. We can expect Leicester to dominate the possession, so those fullbacks will be pushed right up there. We've even seen Justin come very, very close to scoring as well. Someone I'd definitely consider, maybe get yourself at Justin or Brighton, Vardy, and maybe even Harvey Barnes, but Justin or Brighton, Vardy, maybe Justin instead of Chilwell can kind of be your core Leicester players, and then Junior Stanislas and even King for Bournemouth. I wouldn't really consider too many other Bournemouth options. Brooks has been very good for them, so maybe a guy who does draw some fouls, doesn't take too many shots or cross. He's a very good, skillful player, but in terms of a DraftKings asset, he doesn't actually do the things that we like to see in DraftKings. He goes on some very successful dribbles, but then will just kind of pass the ball off to someone, and he's done a lovely dribble, gone round a man, but he's only getting the 0.02 points for just an accurate pass. So not too great of a DraftKings options, that because Bournemouth are fighting for their lives. They will want to win this game, so maybe we could see a Bournemouth win here. So you could go and put all your eggs in the Bournemouth basket, although I think a lot of the Leicester players will tick up anyway, so they'll get a lot of points even if Bournemouth do end up winning this game. But yeah, if you think that Bournemouth are going to go and win, maybe lob in the Bournemouth goalkeeper, but I think Leicester will win, so I think Schmeichel, the Leicester goalkeeper, is a very good option here. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, it's been a quick preview of the Premier League games happening on the 12th of July. If you aren't around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you have enjoyed. Thank you. I'll see you soon.